Most people think the human spirit shows up when we win, when the crowd cheers, when the story ends neatly. But that's not where it lives. The human spirit shows up in the moments that no one applauds. When you get out of bed with a weight on your chest and no promise that the day will be kind. When you keep your word to yourself, even though you know that no one would ever know if you didn't. It lives in the pause between heartbreak and hope, when quitting would make more sense and continuing feels unreasonable. The human spirit is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It whispers, one more step. It's the courage to tell the truth, first to yourself, then to the world, even when the truth costs you comfort, approval, or certainty. It's the decision to become instead of perform, to heal instead of harden, to grow instead of repeat. The human spirit is what remains when everything familiar is stripped away, when titles fall off, when the masks break, when certainty dissolves. What remains is choice, not the dramatic kind, the quiet one. The choice to rise again without knowing how the story ends. The choice to act with integrity when it would be easier to disappear. The choice to believe that you're becoming what matters more than you have been. That is the human spirit, uncelebrated, unbreakable, and far more powerful than the world ever gives it credit for. I'm Kevin Mills. Welcome to the cafe. This is Joe for the Soul. This is our first episode of the year. I was hesitant to get on the camera and do this. As you can see, my face is lit up like Chernobyl. I am going through skin cancer treatment. Before you guys send me your best wishes, I do appreciate it. Thank you. I will be okay. They caught it. It has not metastasized. It is basically just surface skin cancer. And what's crazy is, other than a couple of blemishes here and there before this treatment, I really did not know that anything was going on this drastic, especially with my face. Grab your cup, settle in. We're going to go deep today.
Absolution X. Limited editions, lifestyle apparel like none other. Get yours today at absolutionx.com.
Live the resort lifestyle every day with K. The perfect pieces for every wardrobe. Shop the entire K collection and find your favorites. Find all our styles at team-centric.com.
How many of you have started your own business only to realize that you quit your 9-to-5 to become a slave to your own dreams? You before had time after you punched out to spend with your family and to do things, and now that you're chasing your dream, you are married to it. You are working what seems like 24/7 in order to keep your business together, in order to keep it thriving. And it may be doing well, but is that really the reason why you started your business? Today's guest started his own business when he was younger, and then all of a sudden had this realization that his business had taken over his life. He had no room to live his life. We have Jason McKenzie with us today. Jason, why don't you go ahead and tell us your story and we'll kick it off from there.
Absolutely, yeah. So I have, as far back as I remember, I've always been interested in this idea of business and what is business and how do you make money. And it all started when I was actually a teeny little kid, and I remember walking into a little store and they had probably 70 feet of candy. And I thought, how much money would it take to buy all the candy? And that was the moment I was like, oh, I need more money because I need more candy. And at first I thought I was going to be a basketball star, and that clearly isn't going to work out. I can't jump like Muggsy Bogues. So my dad's like, no, let me teach you. The people that are really successful in this world are business owners. It's not so much athletes. Those are very few people can achieve that, but a lot of people can achieve this idea of success in business. And so he started teaching me at a young age, and I was really enthralled with this idea of being a business owner. And I tried several different things growing up, and eventually as I was in college, I discovered a lot of technology and everything was converging together. And I started a business in college, and I was super excited because I felt like I'd finally found my place. I'd found the right business. I'd found the offerings that were going to work, and I just started going gangbusters with it. And fast forward a couple of years, I have all these visions of what I'm going to accomplish within the business, how it's going to provide me all this freedom, all this money. And I'm starting to think that I'm being successful because the business is running okay. And I can wake up every single day and I can go into work. And when I stepped into my office, it was kind of like having a printing press just running. And I'm just sitting there working on my computer and money's spitting out the other end, right? Because customers are happy and they're paying me. And I thought I was doing great until one day I wanted to take my family on a vacation, but this was not a normal one because I was going to have no cell phone service and no internet for a week straight. And normally I could handle going on vacation, just kind of work on the side and like, oh yeah, I hope you're having fun. I'm just going to take care of this. But this was totally different because there was no sneaking off to work. And I had customers looking me in the face and saying, we can't have you go on vacation. I'm like, yeah, it'll be fine. I have employees. And they said, no, if something goes wrong, we need you. And that was a major gut punch. In that moment, my entire reality shifted. And I realized I had not been building myself freedom. I hadn't been building success. I had literally been building myself a cage. And I was shoving myself into that cage, and I had to be in that cage in order for the business to be healthy and for the business to run. It's almost like the people that hook up electricity to the exercise machine, and as long as they're exercising, you get electricity, but as soon as you stop, the TV turns off because you're not exercising anymore. Same exact thing, except for it was even worse because my entire livelihood, my family's livelihood, it was all connected to me being right there working all the time.
So tell me, Jason, when you had that aha moment that oh my gosh, something has to change, how did you shift gears? What did you do? Did you say, you know what, I'm not interested in doing this anymore? Or did you say, you know what, there's a problem here and I need to apply a fix to it. I need to figure out what that fix is. Tell us what you did.
Yeah, so I did go on that vacation, and I told my employees, I said, hey, I don't care what the problem is, you have to solve it. I'm not going to be there. I told my customers, I'm sorry, I have to go on this vacation. There's no question. If something goes wrong, I'm sorry, we'll deal with it. Talk to my employees. And I, for that week, took that week and really just sat there and was asking myself, how did I get into this mess? Do I even want to keep being a business owner? Did I do something wrong, or is this really the way it is? And then I started looking around, and I'm on this vacation with a few other people, and I'm looking, and this guy's got this massive company, and here he is, completely no stress, just sitting there chilling on his boat. I'm looking over here at this other guy. I'm like, how are these other business owners doing this? I know that there's another way, but I didn't know how to get there, and I didn't know if I could. I didn't know if they had some magic formula or if they were just lucky or what it was, but I decided I was going to start figuring out what the successful people did that I didn't do. And I was going to see if it was just that Jason was cursed, if these people were just somehow lucky, or if there was a way to actually change it. And there were multiple times during that week and afterwards where I thought maybe I should just shut the whole thing down. Maybe I shouldn't be a business owner. Maybe I should just go get a job. I'll probably make more money and have less stress than what's happening right now. And there were a lot of times where I was on that edge, and I'd go and talk to other business owners and they'd be like, don't do it. You're so close to success. You just have to change a few things. But it did take me a long time.
So what were those few things that you changed, if you don't mind sharing those?
Oh, I would love to, because that's really where the magic is for businesses. The first thing I realized that I had to change is, at this point I had employees and I had customers. So I have an income stream coming in and I have employees doing some of the work. But what I realized was I was the central cog in the machine. And if I wasn't there and you pull Jason out, everything started to fall apart. So I had to figure out, how am I going to extract Jason without the machine falling to pieces? And believe it or not, one of the most important things, and before this, I thought it was total garbage, was the company culture. I knew from a friend that my company culture stunk. And the reason that matters so much is the business was Jason for all practical intents and purposes. So it was my personality, my characteristics that everyone was attracted to and were doing business with those characteristics. Once I separated the business from Jason and they became two separate entities, I was able to say, okay, if you work for this company, you're going to have to be communicative with customers. You're going to have to think like a customer thinks. You're going to have these characteristics to work at my business. And the employees started to get that concept a little bit. And then because they knew how the company was supposed to function as a separate entity, they were able to start stepping into that and acting as if they were the representative of the company instead of just a go-between that has to turn and ask Jason questions every time there's a question. So establishing the culture of the company was one of the foundational pieces. And then the next piece, my employees, they're all W-2, but they work in multiple states. We literally were not having any meetings at all. So they were not comfortable talking to each other. And so I had to start establishing, going back to that culture, an idea where my employees recognized that they were team members, and we built a way for them to communicate, a way for them to make sure everyone understands where everyone is at on the same page, and the culture that it's okay to reach out to other employees and ask for assistance or feedback. And so in that way, they started being able to collaborate with each other on issues that they had to solve rather than feeling like they have to turn to Jason every time. So that was just the first step on a very long journey. I don't know how many different major components you'd want me to share, but that was a big one.
It sounds like what you're saying is you changed your company culture and basically started delegating in order to take more off of your shoulders, off of your personal plate. What I'd really like for you to share is how you're consulting with other people who are in the same situation that you are, or who may be coming up on the same situation you are, and the types of people that you're working with and how you get them started.
Yeah, so we love working with people who are in a position that the business is up and going to a certain extent, and they're starting to feel that pressure of being stuck. They're starting to realize, woo, maybe I'm not making as much as I thought I would be making. Maybe the business is kind of starting to own me all the time. And we work with them to help them transform. And the first thing that I've done is I actually have a podcast where I realized the foundation of change is always within the business owner's mind. As long as I see the world a certain way, I'm going to act a certain way. But as soon as I change the way I see the world, even if it's a teeny bit, I start acting different, I start speaking different, I start thinking different, and I start getting different results. And so my purpose was with starting that podcast is, can I help business owners just in 5-minute increments start shifting the way they're thinking about life, about relationships, about everything? Because as soon as you change a little bit, everything else starts shifting around to make space for that new mindset that a business owner has. So that's the first. They can also reach out and connect with us as well, and we have offerings that they can go through to help them make those transformational steps, because there's actually a framework that we established, and we'll be releasing a book that teaches that framework later this year.
So first off, tell us, what is the name of your podcast? And I'm assuming it's on Spotify and some other, tell us about that. And then what I want to hear about is some of the different things that you're suggesting to have these individuals change their mindset, which is what it sounds like you're trying to do. Change your mindset, change their view of just business in general and what they need to do in order to be more successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the podcast is called Small Business, Big Visibility, and it's available basically anywhere you can find a podcast. It's on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Pandora, everywhere you can go. It's basically there. And Monday through Friday, we have episodes that we release, and most of their time they're about 5 minutes long, unless I'm interviewing someone. Then I want a business owner to tell their story, their journey, their successes, their failures, and really because I found that entrepreneurs kind of feel like it's a lonely space. And so for them being able to hear other entrepreneurs and hear the real stories kind of gives them that extra strength and that extra boost that they need to keep going when times are tough for them. So if I'm not doing an interview, it's about 5 minutes long. If I am, somewhere 30 to 45 minutes, and we release episodes Monday through Friday.
And you do consulting Monday through Friday as well. And do you have a website that you could share with us?
Yeah, so Grazora.com, that's Grazora.com, is the company that we have for helping small business owners get unstuck.
Jason, that is awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us. Stick around because I'm going to be right back with you. And for those of you sitting in the coffee shop here with me, we'll be right back.
Live the resort lifestyle every day with Cayman K. The perfect pieces for every wardrobe. Shop the entire Cayman K collection and find your favorites. Find all our styles at CaymanK.com.
Absolution X. Limited editions. Seek your absolution. Lifestyle apparel like no other. Only at absolutionx.com.
Jason, thank you very much. And friends here in the cafe, as we get ready to wrap things up today, let's just say it. This was one of those conversations, you know the kind though, ones that make you smile, nod, and maybe rethink a thing or two before your next meeting. Jason shared something a lot of business owners don't talk about enough. What happens when success slowly starts taking over your life? Not in a dramatic crash and burn way, but in that quiet, everyday way where work creeps into your evenings, your weekends, and suddenly your free time feels like a myth. And if you found yourself thinking, like I did, yep, that sounds familiar, you are in good company. What I loved about Jason's story and what I really respect about Jason is that it wasn't about giving up or quitting. It was about adjusting, about building a business that actually fit his life instead of it running his life. Because here's the truth. Success isn't supposed to exhaust you all the time. A growing business shouldn't mean losing everything else you enjoy. And you shouldn't have to choose between doing great work and having a life. Jason figured out how to make that shift, and now he's helping other business owners do that through his daily podcast, Small Business, Big Visibility. It's full of real stories, real lessons, and real reminders that it's okay to want both growth and balance. So as you head into the rest of your day, here's a simple takeaway to keep in your back pocket. Build something you're proud of, but make sure it leaves room for living. That's it. Short, simple, worth remembering. Thank you so much for spending part of your morning with us here in the cafe. This has been Joe for the Soul. Have a great day, take care of yourself, and don't forget to enjoy the life you're working so hard to build. I'm Kevin Mills, and we'll see you next time.